So come to your bodies, be here, feel yourself on the ground. Feel the support of earth for us being here. Beautiful support from the sun. This constant lovemaking between the earth and the sun energies that make life possible. Attending to the field of knowledge that is known as Kabbalah. To make justice with this field, it's a very, very ancient field. It is known as Kabbalah only from the 13th century. The name Kabbalah was started, but the field itself is thousands of years old, much older than any religion, any specific religion, including Judaism. This is a field of mystical knowledge. Actually, don't like the word mystical. A field of vibrational attunement to the structures of the universe that, to the best of our knowledge today, sprouted in Mesopotamia, ancient Mesopotamia, connected with ancient Egypt through the Sahara Pure, the
Fertile Crescent.
Huh?
Fertile Crescent.
The Fertile Crescent of the Middle East, in connection with Indian knowledge, Phoenician knowledge. Like it's really like, not to the best of honesty of my understanding of the history of this knowledge, it doesn't belong to any one nation. It doesn't belong to anyone. This is it. So according to this field, this ancient knowledge and the teachers, the masters, the lineage, I'm going to try to transmit a lot in a little. It all starts with sacred pleasure. The process of creation starts from pleasure. And pleasure is considered to be the highest of all. In the book of Yetzirah, the book I referred before with the song, it says there is nothing in the good aspect of creation, there is nothing higher than pleasure. En betov lemala mi'oneg. Now, when we speak about pleasure, we don't speak about pleasure of something, taking pleasure from something. It's the purest pleasure with no object, because there is nothing. Imagine nothingness before creation. It's just the pure pleasure of the divine with itself, when the divine is nothing as well. There's nothing. There's just the first thing that appears is the self-love, self-pleasure, that takes pleasure from nothing else. We used to take pleasure from eating, drinking, feeling, all kind of senses. But try to tune to the sensation of pleasure itself, regardless of any object that it refers to. It's called pure pleasure. It has a quality of playfulness. There is no need to be addressed, nothing needs to be done. That's what defines a game, a play. You don't play a game because you need to, unless you're professional or something, but like when you play, it's an action that the pleasure of the action itself is the fulfillment of itself. There is no need to achieve anything. It's the sacred play, the sacred game of creation. It's not here to fulfill any need, any lack. It's here because, just because, the pureness of becauseness, the pureness of pure expression that is not here to answer anything. It is a flower that blossoms just because it can. And it blossoms in billions and billions of dimensions just because it can. So we start from pleasure. And it's, if we put it in simple words that might make it vulgar, but try not to go there. It's the God self-pleasuring, which means the pleasure of the divine with the divine self. And this is why there is so much sacredness in self-pleasuring also. And so much fear and shame and guilt also connected to masturbation and self-pleasuring, because it's actually connected to the highest of the high. To the deepest knowing that if we can drop in deeper and deeper and deeper into and peel off layers of this reality as we see it, which is called in the book of the Zohar, which is one of the main books of Kabbalah, speaks Aramaic. It says Chezu dehai alma, the perception of this world, which is an illusionary, or when we think this is all, this is an illusion. And we peel off the Chezu dehai alma, the way that we perceive this world. We peel and we peel and we peel. We go the deepest inside is only pure pleasure. And then nothing. From this pure pleasure, the first thing that bursts out of pleasure is will. And again, it's not a will to do anything. It's not a will that needs, there's no need. It's just like the power of moving forward, of doing something. In Hebrew, the word for will is connected to the same word of running, ratzon, ritza. It's the powers are moving in a direction, the trajectory of powers towards a direction. And it stems from pure pleasure. Then it comes to what's called pure will. And it's not the will to do anything specific. It's just like this gathering of powers that is starting to create life. Life is created with pleasure and with this gathering of powers that are in a direction. those powers, the two or the three that I related to, so there's the place that isn't even before any pleasure. It's just like the it itself, and then pleasure is the first thingy, or first thing that we can put in any word, and then will. These are three aspects of what we call keter, crown.
It's the end. Not the end. לא חשוב.
All of these are in far beyond consciousness. So all those structures are in Kabbalah related to the world itself and also to the microcosm, which is each one of us. Any system, basically, any healthy system. So we can look at creation of community as a system, and then we will be able to see the structures in this. A relationship is a system. Define the system, and then we can relate to it. So the human, the individual, is a system, is a microcosm. So everything that Kabbalah speaks about the universe is also in here. The keter, what we call keter, which translated as crown, because it's above. The reason they call it keter, because it's above the head. If the head, they relate to the head as symbolically something that can be conscious, can come to consciousness. So everything that we spoke now was before, prior to consciousness. Yeah, but I'm going linear now. The first thing that drops from Keter, from the thing above consciousness, which is the divine aspects, into our awareness, is knowing, which we call Chokhmah. It's an idea. Symbolically, it relates to the right side of the brain. And this is when you know something. You just know it. You don't know how you know it. You don't know. You have an idea, and an idea can be in all kind of creative ways. Sometimes I had music come to me, and it came so complete that I needed to prove to myself that I actually didn't hear it before. That no one knows this melody, because I heard it. It came. I didn't create it. It just bloop, just like dropped into my awareness. And many of us know it. Like sometimes an idea come to you. Where did it come from? Any idea, any solution. When you have a solution to a problem, or creative idea. So we look at it as drops that are coming. It's like dew that is forming from thin air, which is the keter. So it comes from the nothingness, the emptiness that we cannot relate to, but we know that deep inside the emptiness there is pleasure and will, and it drops into our consciousness, and all of a sudden we know something, and we have an idea. But we cannot explain it. Many times we cannot explain it to others. We cannot explain it to ourselves. I heard about someone who knew the solutions for mathematical equations, but she cannot solve the equation. She just could channel the right answer. But she didn't know mathematics. She just like looked at it and it's like, oh, whatever it is. Yeah. So there are those kind of things that we get, And then we need to explain it to ourselves. The process of analyzing it, to explain it to ourselves and to others, is called bina. And bina is the left side of the brain and connected to the heart wisdom. Bina comes from, in Hebrew, it's a very beautiful root of words. It's connecting to binyan, to building blocks. Because when you understand something, you actually look for how is it built? What are the building blocks of this knowledge or piece of music? What are the chords? What are the, you look at the building blocks. It's also relating to what's between, bein levein. So what's between this and that? So discernment. Like, oh, these look very similar. Is it this chord or this chord? They sound very similar, but they're different. Or is it, so having discernment and clear definitions also relate to filling the gap, the bein, filling the gap between things. So not everything is stuck together. In Chokhmah, when it comes as one idea, it's all glued together. What Bina does is uses like analytic mind, which is like sharp crystal mind, blades of crystal that cut it to categories, understand. What it also does is very important, is throw out the garbage. Because in every good seed, there's stuff that is not needed. Like literally in a seed of wheat, there is the shell. That it's good. It's good for the time that it's there to keep it in place. But when the sprouting happens, actually it needs to dissolve and it needs to fall apart. So what Bina is doing is also, with its analytic mind, feels what's the core of it, where is the core, where is the life, and what's unneeded, what's falling apart, what needs to fall away. So Bina is like pregnancy. So we relate to Chokhmah and Bina like masculine and feminine. The masculine gives the drop, the ejaculation of like, here you are, here you go. I give you 10 million good ideas of how to make children. Now the feminine part needs to select. The first thing that the feminine does is that the egg selects one from all the possibilities. It's like, okay, you. Of course, the egg itself is a masculine property in the feminine body. It's like a giving of a sperm, the seed. But once the egg meets the sperm, it's like selective. The selection is Bina. Taking it in is Bina. Then starting to build. Together they start to build the new chromosomes, the new DNA. And building and building and building, and starting to make the definitions. Okay, this is a liver cell, this is a blood cell, this is a brain cell. Starting to do this, Bina. Starting to define the subtleties, so we can actually build and manifest the idea that came in Chokhmah.
Chokhmah is the right side of the brain, or Chokhmah?
Yeah, the right side of the brain is Chokhmah. The way that the word Chokhmah in Hebrew can be broken into two, which will mean the power that comes from nothingness. The power, koach, ma. The power that comes from emptiness. That's chokhmah. And then Binah takes it in and starts to work on it. And this is pregnancy, basically. And as we know, so chokhmah is very quick. Like a masculine body's ejaculation. Binah takes 9 months to work on it. But what Binah gives you at the end is a child. It takes something that was just a drop, quite stinky, and here at the end, a child, a human being. That's the power of the feminine intelligence of building. Now the thing with Binah, that she needs to be fertilized and loved. That's the very important part. The part in our brain that is analytic, sharp, like I see it always like, knives going like it needs to have something to work on. If it doesn't have something to work on, it will have self-criticism. It will criticize everything, criticize self, criticize the others. It will be nasty. Because this is its nature. It has those knives and, crystal clear thing. It needs to work on something. So it needs to get all the time love from chokhmah. Constantly. To the level that in the Zohar it says that, I'll say it in Aramaic, Abba ve'ima Trein re'in de la mitparshin le'almin. Father and mother, which are other ways to say chokhmah and binah, they're father and mother, are two really good friends that never part from each other. They are in constant lovemaking, which is not sexual. It's not the sexual lovemaking, but it's the energetic lovemaking, like even between parents, really like parents. You want your parent, like the ideal parents, are in constant lovemaking. Again, not physical, but the energy of the masculine and feminine are flowing between them constantly. They lamit parshin le'almin. They do not separate. They would never separate. And this is why divorce of parents is so shocking for a child, because it's like this is the flow of energies of masculine and feminine in the parental level is the foundation of the child's existence. So when it's not about the legal divorce, it's about if the lovemaking in the level of parents is not happening, the child feels like the ground is dropping under the feet. The constant zivug, constant lovemaking between father and mother is the basis of reality. So father and mother, chokhmah and binah, need to always be in connection, and in this way, the binah has something to work on all the time. It's like your mouth has something to chew. She needs to chew on something. And the best thing is to chew on love. When she's chewing on love, she becomes happy. So the other side of binah is joy and happiness. You can feel that when you feel that you understood something really clear. You know this joy when it's like, I got it. This feeling of, I really got it. Not that I had the idea, but I really understand it. I really understand it so well that I can explain it to others. If I have binah, I understand it so well that I can make metaphors to that. I can put it in different words. I can dress it and undress it. I know it. And that gives a lot of satisfaction and feeling of yay, of joy in a specific way. So Bina is called Em Habanim Smecha, the mother of all the children are happy. She's happy. The opposite is when she's neglected, when she's not loved, when she doesn't have one to chew on, and then she chews on herself, she is self-criticizing herself, she's criticizing her children, she's criticizing people around. She's bloody. She is a Bloody Mary. Yeah, she's like, it's dangerous to be around people who have a lot of critical mind when they don't have something good to do with their mind. You want to put their mind into use so they can produce and create and bring joy to themselves and to the world. So those of us who have it, it's like really a call to like always be in love, always be in love. So you can receive, chew, create, give birth. That's why she's called the mother of children. She's giving birth. So she gets the seed of Chokhmah, develops it. She's the research and development department in a company. And then she gives birth to it. Giving birth again is a masculine power. Bina is not totally feminine. Giving birth is masculine. It's delivery. Like the pure feminine will stay pregnant forever. Keep it in. The power was like, okay, that's it. That's it. It was just like, take it out. This is a masculine power in the mother. There's a lot of masculine actually in mothering. There's a lot of masculine powers that are needed for mothering, starting from birth giving. And then when she gives birth to all beautiful emotions that are all the rest of the sfirot of the tree of life, which I will not get into now, chesed and gvura and tiferet and netzach and hod and yesod. These are all things that are being born from the love between Chokhmah and Bina. What I do want to pay attention to before I open to questions is the manifestation process, which is called Malchut. Malchut, translation of Malchut literally is kingdom or queendom, royalty. But it's manifestation. Basically, we need to call it manifestation. It's the way things manifest out into the world. And in the process of creativity, that's what we want. We want, yes, to be creative in ourselves, and we can create a lot of beauty and changes within ourselves. And sometimes we want to manifest something in the physical world. The moving from ideas and concepts and feelings into the physical world needs to go through a gap. There is a gap. Now, if you look at in the Hebrew alphabet, the letter that relates to Malchut is Hey. And the way this letter is written, I'll do it from your side, you're looking at me. So it's horizontal line, connected to it a vertical line, and then another little vertical line that is not touching, is underneath the roof, so to say, but not touching. There is a gap. Yeah, Malchut is the root. What we in Shara we worked with Iboga. Yeah, this is the letter Hey. So the way the Kabbalists relate to it is that the horizontal line represents thought, the thought form, ideas. The vertical line is words, speaking. You take the thought and you speak them. Hopefully it's connected. Your words are connected to your thoughts. מילים שבאות בדיבור. Yeah, spoken word. But the little line is action. And to move from thought and speaking to action, there is a gap. We all know it. Many people can dream things, speak about them, but to do it actually, it takes a leap over an abyss that is stepping into the unknown. Talking about it is still connected to the thought. And I'll show you something else in the shape. Yeah. The complete way that it looks like is also like this. So this is, if you see the traditional writing, so the the horizontal line has like a, what would you call it?
Like a little tail.
A tail up, like a chupchik going up. Yeah? This goes to Keter. This goes to the unknown. It's like this is what we spoke about. From the unknown, the thoughts, Chokhmah and Bina would be here. This is the, yeah?
Yeah.
So it sprouts from above, and we can talk about it, we have ideas, and then action needs a leap of faith. So many people you would see talking about community. Right? Many people want community, talk about community, have great ideas about community. Doing it is a whole different dimension. Same with relationships, same with art, same with everything. When you come to Malchut, and Malchut is the little line inside, the action, you come to action, it's a whole different dimension, and the leap is a leap of unknown, leap of faith that needs to be connected to the source. So many people think that in order to manifest in action, you need to be connected to your words and to your thoughts. Yes, it needs to be within the boundaries of the words and the thoughts, in the box, but actually it needs to be connected to the void, to the nothingness. It needs to be connected to the first source of where it came from. And this is the circular, what you asked before. This is where, so we spoke about it as if it's a linear thing, coming from Keter down to Chokhmah, Bina, going down through the body, going to the root. But then you come to the root, and as Sefer Yetzirah says, the book of creation says, Na'ut sofan betchilatan betchilatan besofan. Anchor, or ne'ot, how do you say ne'ot? Like a pin. Yeah. Pin the end to the beginning, and the beginning to the end.
It's like Pierce.
It's like glue it, like bring it back. It's like, yes, we went linear, but then the end is actually connected to the very beginning. So Malchut is connected to Keter. It has to be connected to Keter. Because of the mystery aspect of manifestation. It needs to vibrate with the source of pleasure that it came from, and the source of will that it came from. And then, of course, another cycle can start. Malchut can become the keter of a new cycle. It's like you give birth to a child, and this child will give birth to other children. It's like your creation will be a source of creativity and will be connected and start new circles. There's also, last thing I would say, before I open to questions, is there is also a secret connection between the father and the daughter. The daughter is Malchut, the father is Chokhmah. Just like in a family, yes, you are born from the womb of your mother, but there is a secret connection that needs always to be. It's an erotic connection even, between, not sexual, but there's eros like life force, in a secretive and tingling and beautiful life force that goes from Chokhmah to Malchut. From the first idea, from the first lightning, of like, yeah, I got it, I have it, to the action. They need to be always in connection. In the book of the Zohar, the way it says, it's Abba Yasad Barta. Abba Yasad Barta. Yeah, I say it mainly for you, Nitzan, so you can write it. The foundation of the daughter is in the father. And there is more and more depth to that. But just to say that the father is not out of the picture. It's not that the mother, then, Chokhmah just gave you an idea, and then Binah is doing the rest. No. The connection needs always to be there, so there is flow of ideas. And it's also important that the Chokhmah is giving lots of ideas. It's like, think of ejaculation. There are millions of great ideas there. Where do they go? They are absorbed as well. They are not manifested in the simple way, but they are absorbed into that one that is created, and some of them will be created in different ways. In the way we see it in Kabbalah, every lovemaking, any lovemaking is making babies. Like, even if you love make with yourself, even self-pleasure, you're creating babies in the world, in different realities, in different dimensions. There's always a womb that is receiving it, even if it's the cosmic womb. And you're giving and you're creating. So every power that is coming in the ejaculate of, even if sexual or just the ejaculate of the mind, it's beautiful and it's creative and it's part of the thing. Not every idea needs to be actually manifested to a child, but every idea would be manifested in some dimension. There are billions and billions of dimensions, and those flowers would blossom somewhere else, and they are connected to us. We are constantly, even though we're here, we're connected to other dimensions of ourselves. And when we create, we are not only creating here. And this is, I think, very powerful, especially in the journey that we're going into. Open yourself to the possibility that your creativity is not only happening on this plane. Some, yes, and it's important to create on this plane, but at the same time you're creating on different planes that are all multi-connected through fibers of life force. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or anything you want to relate to?
I want to share something. See this cut that I'm making?
Yeah.
I made it myself like 2 weeks ago. I